tonight on RPGB TV. The Dungeons and Dragons 2024 Dungeon Master Guide, DMG. Is it the jazz or is it not the jazz? Closing thoughts. Gentlemen.
Dungeon.
The Utah Jazz. I think that the DMG overall is a success. I don't have, the Kramer thing. Buy. I do think that it is a great option for new players. And while nothing is ever going to be a perfect product, they seem to have done a pretty good job. And I think that part of the joy of being a part of this community is critiquing all of the tools and books that you're given every time a new edition, a continuation of the current edition is put into stores. And I eagerly look forward to the Monster Manual.
I look forward to the Monster Manual as well, because I feel like the Player's Handbook came out and then they've done more stuff that they set up in that paid off more in the Dungeon Master Guide, and I feel like the Dungeon Master Guide is going to pay off more in the Monster Manuals. That's going to come out in January? Is that what it is?
Next year?
Yeah, next year. No, I do. For the most part, I like the book, and I think it does have like a lot of good information, especially for newer DMs. I always feel like, because that's just the person that I am, is like you're going to learn more playing it than reading about it, but at least there's a guidelines, as I know sometimes you think it's too vague. Sometimes some of us don't, but I feel like it's all there and people are going to have like the tools to get to a table and roll some dice and figure out, the pacing and how to DM it. So yeah, no, I can't say it's a bad edition. 5.5. And thumbs up for me. I think I'll get it eventually.
Okay. I like this book. I think it's, just because it's better than 2019 in a lot of ways. I think people overhype that because a lot of people never read the 2019, and I think there's a lot of useful stuff in the 2019. So if you have it or you have access to it, it would be a great companion piece for this. I think that this is primarily for new DMs, a lot of this information, and so older, more experienced DMs don't necessarily need to be told how to do these things, but that's not who this book is for. Overall, I think that, Kevin hates reading books, and as such, this book is longer than the PHB, I believe, so Kevin hates it more.
It's longer than the old DMG, too.
I don't like reading like useless stuff. So if it has good stuff in it, which I feel like I've read, the Player's Handbook, I felt like had good stuff in it, and I read a lot of the Player's Handbook. But when I start reading, I'm typical, and I know a lot of you are going to be this way as well, that I've been playing this game for a while, and when I get to stuff that I'm just like, I'm not going to do that. I just skip over it, and I go to the next thing, and maybe I'm missing things in there that are helpful, and then one of these guys will fill me in and be like, oh, you skipped over that chapter where they say this. I'm like, oh, that's the one thing I would have.
Yeah, maybe if you read about the basics of D&D,
I don't even know.
Maybe it would enlighten you on some things.
Do they still have the same dice?
Oh boy, I do think that I've always found it a bit strange that they kind of lock away firearms in the Dungeon Master's Guide. They don't put them in the main PHB. But I guess their idea is your world is whatever you want to make it. So if you want there to be, guns, explosives, firearms of some kind in it, then you have to make that decision rather than let the players make the decision. But I think it's a little strange where you can nuke 1,000 commoners with a fireball, that they seem hesitant to put that in.
Yeah, I think that's more a sort of, I think that people who played D&D over the years were like, yeah, but what if I want a world with guns, right?
Yeah.
And so they were like, okay, here's some rules for guns, but we don't necessarily think that this is in keeping with our idea of D&D totally, right? Like, especially with the popularity of like Percy and stuff like, is that his name?
Yes. Percy, yeah.
Like I think that that's become more on people's minds. The same way that the Artificer, which is not in the PHB, by the way, has become such a popular thing because people like the steampunky shooting things and stuff. Because the worlds in which you play in D&D have expanded so much, right? It's not just traditional medieval European fantasy. It's whatever you want it to be. And I think that's what we can expect as experienced players. But this is a good intro for people who just want to explore some dungeons,
Mm,
and maybe kill some dragons.
yeah.
Or befriend them, you know, because I'm a vegetarian, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't kill them.
Give him a little smooch.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on our deep dives of the 2024 DMG. I did that thing that Kevin told me not to again. Please let us know if we missed anything, if you love us, if you want to
Marry us?
marry us. If you want
Where does this go? We were talking.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
Just say dungeon.
if you want to see us pushed out onto an ice floe, like into the Arctic, we'll do that too. Dungeon. All right. As always,
And dragons.
we thank you for having here. Like, subscribe at RPGB on all social media platforms.
Thanks for
Thanks
watching.
for watching. Join the playlist.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ah.
Dude.